everyone. Welcome back to the Healing Soul Tarot. My name is Crystal. Thank you to all of my returning subscribers. Welcome back. We're now at 555 subscribers, 555. So, I mean, that's a huge sign if there ever was one. It basically, I just had to look it up for myself. It said, huge changes are up ahead. Trust that this transition is your highest good. Prepare for massive shifts. Things are getting exciting. You know, that's interesting because a lot of the readings that, I watch other channels, and there's been a lot of talk about this energy shift. People are feeling like something's about to happen. I don't think it's anything negative, but there's going to be some sort of huge shift happening. I don't know. But anyway, 555. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. This is a relatively new channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This is a journey for sure. So thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm learning as I go along. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'll just say before we get started, these readings are for all signs, but they are for the collective, so I can only pick up on the loudest energy from the collective. So not everything may resonate with you. So be selective, right? Take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? Because it might not actually, everything may not apply, okay? So anyway, I thought it's been a minute, so why don't we do a past life reading? I meditated on 3 different potential past life cards. So you can choose whether you're group 1 or group 2 or group 3. To help you choose, I've just pulled some different pendulums out. So the first one, if you can see, is this clear quartz chakra pendant. There we go. So it's got the 7 chakras on the front of it. Okay. The second group is this brass pendulum. So you can choose that if you feel drawn to it. And the last one is the black tourmaline pendant. Okay. So as usual, I've already cleared the area. So just take a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, choose your group, and I will see you at your reading. So welcome group 1. If you chose the clear crystal quartz chakra pendulum, then this is your reading. Okay, so your card is the Messiah. Okay, so the light attribute talks about serving humanity with humility. The shadow attribute is exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. So right off the bat, I get the sense that at some point, for some of you in group 1, you may have been a religious person, maybe someone working as a missionary of sorts, someone who was maybe very enlightened as well, but you were on this mission to save humanity. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you were a strict religious observer in a past life. It could just mean that you, in your work, you were very passionate about looking after humanity, helping others, okay? It was almost an obsession, okay? And it meant a lot to you to do this. It was coming from a very spiritual place, okay? So that's why I say maybe it was in a past life you worked as a missionary, or just within the church or some other Orthodox religion, but I don't know specifically if there's a specific culture attached to it. I'm not getting that, but it's just someone who was deeply spiritual, that really cared for and was passionate about helping others, okay? But like I said, it was almost an obsession, okay? And there were times, I think, you were you could have been, like, that's the light attribute is, you were someone who was very spiritual, wanted to help humanity. The shadow attribute could represent someone who maybe took all of that a little too far. And then we start talking about, it, more cultish behavior. Maybe you were tied up in some sort of cult. All right. That, I don't know, we'll get more detail, but maybe there was sort of this manipulation. All right. People were abusing their power. Had you convinced that it was for good, for the good of humanity? But really, you were being manipulated, and the person or situation that you were in was really off. I'm thinking like Jim Jones, Charles Manson type stuff here. So I don't know. We'll get more detail. Okay. But yeah, I think because we take lessons from previous lives and bring them into our current situation, we're always learning, always growing. I think for you, a major attribute or character of your soul, I guess, or your divine path, is to help others. Okay? You have this desire to help people, and on a large scale. All right? So maybe you work with a charity. Okay? But there's just, it kind of comes with the warning, do it for the right reasons, do it for good, not necessarily to have people, don't do it for praise. Okay. But anyway, let's get some more detail. I'm not exactly sure, but let's just dig down a little bit. Okay. Ancestor, spirit guides, angels, higher beings, please give me more information about this Messiah card for group 1's past life reading, please. Okay. So we have King of Pentacles. I should hold that up. So King of Pentacles. So someone very reliable, a visionary, someone who's very generous. So that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's tying into, I think, the personality of who you were in a past life. You were very kind, very generous, very reliable. This is definitely about you. We also have the Five of Swords. Okay, now it may have come with some sort of upheaval or conflict. All right. The Seven of Pentacles also came up, so that's about goals, potential, and success. And let's just get one more. And the Emperor, law and order. So, yeah, I mean, it's still showing sort of what I said earlier, if you chose this card in a past life, you were very passionate about helping others, helping humanity improve, but there was some sort of upheaval, a loss, a conflict. So that ties into this idea of maybe you were being, you were so deeply involved in religion or spirituality of some sort within some kind of religion. It just caused a lot of conflict and loss and upheaval. Okay, you became very conflicted. All right, maybe if you were being controlled by, say, someone who had manipulative intentions, like a cult leader or something like that, the seeds that they were planting in your mind may have gone against, your own values and your own morals and caused a lot of inner conflict. But I see, the Emperor card here. So I get a sense that there was some sort of, I guess I see it as someone who was deeply religious, but it turned out to being, I don't know, that you just felt conflicted. That what you were being told wasn't making sense. Okay, the seeds that we're planting weren't making sense to you. Okay, so I get a sense that you kind of moved on away from that. Okay, you moved away from that because we have the Emperor card here, which represents law and order. I don't know. Let's just see. There's something here. I don't know if it was you per se being the cult leader who was planting seeds or the wrong information into people's minds as a way to manipulate them, or if you were the one that was manipulated. Okay, we'll try to figure that out. But like I said, you were definitely spiritual. You were a spiritual person. You wanted to help people. We have the bone. This is about setting up, I don't know if you guys can see that, setting up strong foundations. Okay, you may have traveled. Like I said, if you were a missionary, you may have traveled to other places. You had the best intentions. Okay, you wanted other people to be happy, to have good lives. You know, you went into it for all the right reasons. All right, it was about just doing the right thing in life. That's what you believed in. You wanted to leave maybe even a legacy behind through your religious work, your charity work, working as a missionary. Okay, it was very important to you. Very, very important to you. And you had this vision for humanity, okay? Which I think was a good one. It was just that either you or people around you there was someone with a God complex here, an over-exaggerated God complex. That's what I'm trying to put my finger on. I don't know if it was you yet or somebody else, but we'll find out, okay? You may have just become disillusioned. Okay, yeah, we have the Hag. So that's a warning. There were warning signs. You started to see that things were not right, things were off. Yeah, you started to have fears. The whole experience was starting to become a bit nightmarish. Okay, a lot of bizarre encounters, malicious encounters. All right. This is interesting. Yeah, there was some sort of news, like you were waiting for news or waiting for a particular time, an awakening, a beginning or end of some important event. All right, so, and 25, I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm kind of getting, someone may have been in a cult. Okay, because the stick is either about branching out on your own, making your own way, which is kind of what I alluded to earlier about planting the seeds and looking for your own goals and potential and your own success and creating law and order in a different way. But the stick also represents abuse of power. Okay, so I kind of, yeah, right away I get this sense that someone who you were, yes, you were highly spiritual, but you were involved in a group that was telling you things, that weren't necessarily true. They were abusing their power. They were telling you that, you know, there was this spiritual awakening, but the way that they were going about it was really bizarre and malicious and all about exerting control. So that's really weird. I mean, let me know if that resonates. Okay. Sometimes, you know, and that's funny. Sometimes people, when you know, think about it this way, if you're one of those people, you always try to do good, right? You may sometimes constantly find yourself, your good intentions being taken advantage of. I kind of get that sense here too. All right. In some of you, your past life, you may have been that kind of person who, was always kind, very giving, wanted the best for humanity, and then a very manipulative, kind of psychotic person saw that and latched onto you and was really kind of taking advantage of that, abusing your good nature. Okay. What is this Five of Swords about? There was some sort of conflict, some sort of upheaval, a loss. What is this? So we had a wish. Okay. This is an odd one. The Sage, you found peace. Okay. I think you walked away. You walked out of the situation. You left. So in the past, yeah, you could have been in a religious commune, in a cult that wasn't the best, you know? There's a lot of those organizations that take advantage of people. Yeah, you contemplated. There was so much upheaval, so much conflict. It didn't make sense to you. It was going against your beliefs, your sense of peace. All right? And you moved out. You got out of it. You didn't want to be manipulated or abused anymore. Okay? You wanted to go find your own peace, and you were contemplating it for a really, really long time. But it was about your harmony. You just wanted a better future for yourself, for your family. So yeah, you left this group or whatever it was. Yeah. We you know, I don't know. There's a lot of groups, man, that they want to make people think that what they're doing is in, you know, God's name. It's they're good. They're so I don't know, but you got to watch out for those people, because sometimes it's just not true. They're very evil underneath, and they use religion as a way to, you know, to hide their true nature. So I think that's what happened here. You know, like I said, someone was involved in a cult. Right off the bat, I talked about Jim Jones and Charles Manson. I think it was definitely on that level. But yeah, things just, you started to see things a different way. You know, like I said, the pipe is about contemplating. You were thinking about it. Nothing was sitting right with you anymore. And you just decided the best thing to do was to find your peace elsewhere. Find your peace and harmony elsewhere, because the situation that you were in, there was just too much going on. It was crazy. Too much abuse, too much conflict, too much upheaval, all of it stuff. It wasn't a good situation, okay? So we got the Seven of Pentacles. It's about planting seeds, you know, going after your goals, potential success. So what is the Seven of Pentacles about for group one? Oh yeah, okay, so flower. So you left that situation and you want it to start over again somewhere, you know, to bloom, to grow. You had to start a new beginning elsewhere. Yeah, and you lit a candle to find your way. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. You know, sometimes you grow up in these situations. That's all you know. So when you leave, it's very difficult to adjust in the outside world. But I see that in this past life you were successful. I mean, we have the Emperor here. Law and order. Interesting. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, here we go. You decided you were going to leave that situation. We have the Devil, which is about leaving behind things that are no longer good for you. Okay. Anything that's holding you back. That's what the Devil card is in traditional decks. But yeah, you knew that there was a lot of deceit and abuse happening. It was evil. You decided to leave, to forge your own way. Okay. and start over again, with the flower. And we can see that there was blood a little blood drop there. I mean, it wasn't easy, right, to leave, but you decided, you know to walk away from what no longer suited you so you could start over again, create, new potential, find out what, abilities you had or could use in this new world. You were looking for answers elsewhere, using the light of the candle to direct you. Okay. Yeah, you wanted, you just knew that there was a new life, or you had hope that there was something better, and you left. You left that situation. You walked away from it, which is probably the best thing. You wanted more stability, more balance. You moved out of this cultish situation so that you could be more connected to earthly affairs. And it's interesting because we do have the Seven of Pentacles, which is about planting seeds. So I don't know. I mean, you could have been a cult, you could have left and then became a farmer. I mean, if I wanted to be really literal about this reading, but you just wanted a more peaceful life and use your abilities to grow a new life for yourself. And you were successful because we have the Emperor, law and order, the Emperor. Wow, this is something else. Let me know if any of this makes sense. So yeah, we have the Moon, which is maybe illusions. Okay, I think maybe, okay, hang on. This is interesting. Water. Okay, I got it. Yeah, so this is, you had to kind of cleanse yourself from these old illusions, these old beliefs, okay? That's what the moon can represent sometimes, kind of like, we can't see things clearly, right? Sometimes by the light of the moon because it's dark, so things are hidden in shadow. But it was definitely, you needed to, in your past life, you went through a process of purifying all of these dark emotions. You were kind of a wayward soul there for a while, but you had a lot of, because of that experience within that, I just have to keep calling it a cult. I can't think of any other word to call it other than it being a very manipulative, dark situation that you were in. You had a lot of demons to fight off. Okay. You rebelled against it. Now, this is weird. Okay. So this is interesting. I'm not sure exactly what's coming through here, but the pitchfork represents rebellion, individualism, a violent uprising, and conflict. So we have the law and order. Okay. Yes, you could. Okay, so here's couple things that could have happened. Maybe you on your own left this cult. Okay, you wanted to forge your own path, find your own way, put behind you what was no longer making any sense, what was causing inner conflict. But there's another possibility that before you even left the cult, in came the authorities to cleanse the situation, because it was, like I said, if you're in a Jim Jones, Charles Manson kind of situation, what was that? I can't think of that other place, Waco, right? Where the authorities went in and just tore the place up, burned it to the ground. I kind of get the sense that maybe that may have happened. All right. So take what resonates. But there was definitely, with this pitchfork, it was either an uprising within yourself that made you want to leave, or an actual uprising, rebellion against the cult, authorities coming in, maybe people just leaving, saying this was, other people who believed that it just didn't suit them anymore. But yeah, there was a conflict that put the whole thing to an end. Okay. Wow, that's kind of interesting. All right, so yeah, I definitely think two possibilities: either you left, or the people running this cult were taken down. I don't know. You guys let me know how that sits. So, all right. So what lessons from the past life should group one focus on in the present? What lessons from the past life should group one focus on in the present? Thank you, please. So we have happiness. Okay. Yeah, definitely focus on your happiness in this life, because your past life, there wasn't a lot of it. Best intentions, but like I said, I think a lot of abuse. Healing. Focus on healing from that experience in your past life, okay? It wasn't good no matter what. Abuse on all levels, okay? Very abusive situation. So in this life, definitely focus on healing any of those deep soul inner wounds, okay? Because, and you may even sometimes find yourself in this life re-entering manipulative or, abusive relationships. But if you heal, that helps you strengthen your boundaries and build a guard so that you're not so susceptible to manipulators anymore, right? You'll be able to see them coming a mile away. So focus on your healing and your happiness and creative ingenuity. Okay, the spider and passion flower. This life is it for you guys in group one. Okay, this is the life where you're supposed to create your happiness, create your world as you see fit. Okay, use your creative ingenuity. Okay, and focus on your healing, but just be happy in this life. Okay, make sure it's the way that you want it, because you deserve it. All right. Okay, group one, thank you so much. Let me know if this resonates, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and I'll see you all soon. Love you. Hi, group two. If you chose the brass pendulum, okay, then this is your reading. Okay, so your card is the rescuer. Okay, light attributes for the rescuer reads: provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Okay, so that's either in your past life, you're just probably very generous, very kind, very giving person. You didn't expect a reward. But there might have been a part of you or other people. Okay, there may have been a part of you that wanted to be recognized, for the help that you gave other people. You wish that it was reciprocated. Or maybe there were people in your life that you helped, and they just, yeah, they just didn't give the same care and concern to you. All right. Maybe you were the rescued, and maybe you were in a situation where someone wanted to keep you kind of in a state of lack or keep you needy. Okay. You may have had to always prove how thankful you were. All right. I'm not sure. But those are two situations in a past life, okay? Very giving, kind, never expected anything back, or you were possibly in a situation where someone was holding that over you, okay? If you were the one who, in fact, was rescued. But let's get a little bit more detail about the rescuer. Ancestors, spirit guides, angels, higher beings, please give me more detail about this card, rescuer, please, for group two. Let's get a little bit more detail about this situation, please. Seven of Pentacles again. We had this for group one. So it's about planting seeds. you know, finding your potential, goals, and success, okay? That kind of makes sense, you know, if you were kind of the person that was stuck in a situation, you know, where you were constantly having to show how grateful you were. Maybe you wanted to get out on your own and plant your own seeds, find out what your own potential was, all right? Maybe you were mostly concerned with just helping others in a way where they could find their potential. I'm not sure, but we'll keep going. We have the Eight of Cups, okay? Change. Yeah, it always represents change, swift change, or walking away from, walking away from something that no longer served you. So I think, yeah, in a past life, you were someone who was probably, hang on, I think you were someone who was rescued, but someone was holding it over your head. And it just got to be too much. And I think you just walked away from the situation because you wanted to branch it on your own, find your own potential. But someone was definitely making you feel beholden to them. All right? Yeah. It took, you walked away. And it took a long time for you to recover and rest from this situation. You just want it quiet. Because, this person or situation that you were in was just, there was nothing you could do to show how grateful or thankful you were for the situation, okay? You wanted peace. You wanted time to just find out who you were, find out what your own potential was, what you were capable of, but that was only going to happen if you spent some time healing and trying to recover, okay? Maybe you were rescued and you were there because it took a while to recover, right? But again, someone may have been holding it over you, or you were providing space for people to heal and get better, okay? Maybe you were a doctor, maybe you were a first responder or something like that. Maybe you helped people who were living on the streets or something find their own potential and find their own success. Let's just keep going. It's either about you provided a home for people who were struggling. You wanted to help them. Maybe they were in bad situations and they needed a place to recover, to rest. Or you left a situation in order to recover or rest, I think. Let's just keep going. We'll keep going. These card readings are really interesting tonight. Six of Pentacles, yeah. No, okay, so yeah, you were the rescuer, I think. You were the rescuer. You wanted to give to people. All right, but it was about giving and receiving as well. That was important to you. All right, but you had a gift. You had a gift of helping people. All right? It may not, the way that you helped people may not have been reciprocated, which may have caused you feelings of grief. It may have made you feel tired because you were constantly giving, and you needed to change. Let me see. What is the Seven of Pentacles about? Oh, okay. So yeah. So we got Rat. Not always a really good card, okay? Antidote. All right. Okay, this is starting to take... Okay, so you were, I think, a doctor, someone who worked in the health profession. You wanted to help people, okay? Like I said, they could have been on the streets. you know, people who were homeless. It could have been of maybe you were in the medical profession during the Black Plague, okay, the bubonic plague. All right. So we have the antidote. Maybe you were trying to find the cure for the plague. And sage was often used, or is often used, to clear the air of any bacteria or microorganisms, right? So people would actually put smoke and burn things, sage and things like that, in the air to clear it of disease. So I think, yeah, you were definitely. I all I get is someone who was a doctor that worked during some sort of plague. Okay. Yeah, and you were looking for the cure. Okay. That's why we have, yeah, that makes sense. That's why we have the planting seeds. You were trying to find the cure for this disease. And it was, okay, this makes sense now. It was a thankless job too. I mean, imagine if you were a doctor during those times, right? Would have been an absolute thankless job with a number of people losing their lives because, you know, modern medicine didn't exist back then, right? So, yeah, and this plague, you know, I mean, I think there were times where you felt, you walked away from the situation because you just felt like no matter what you did, you weren't going to win. You know, the plague just ravaged all of Europe and, you know, many places. I think it came so quickly, right? It swept communities, towns so quickly. And I think, you know, you walked away because maybe you felt like you just couldn't, there was nothing you could do to help. I mean, how futile that would have been, right? Trying to help all those people. Let's just see. Let's get a little more detail. Wow, these readings tonight. Let me know if it resonates below. Okay? Maybe in this life you're a healer or something like that. Maybe, you know, you two right now are dealing with a little bit of burnout. Okay? Oh, it's kind of sorry. Let me see those. I'm going to take those. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was hard. Look, we got the octopus again. Oh, no, and the cauldron. I mean, you tried. Yeah. I mean, look, we have the 8 of Cups and the 2 octopus. So, yeah, I mean, it was a very, like, it was a tough situation. And you wanted to, I think you wanted to walk away because it was no longer, you felt like the disease, the plague was just so rapid, so fast. You were multitasking all the time, and you were very, very intelligent. But I mean, it was just it was just so difficult to find this cure. You tried everything, right? You tried to find that cure. Look, we have the lighthouse and the cauldron. You tried so hard, and you put your heart in it. You know, you may not, I mean, maybe you didn't walk away. I don't know. But I think it definitely, you were burnt out. You were definitely, it was tough. It was tough on you. Okay? You were taking care of the sick and the dying, right? But like I said, back then, what were you going to do? How would you have been able to really help people without the proper medicine? But you gave it your all. You tried really hard. Okay? What is the 4 of Wands about? Yeah. Hang on a minute. The 4 girl. Oh, wait a second. Umbrella. Wait a minute here. Oh, okay. So this makes sense, all right? This is a little sad, okay? So during the plague, I think you were a doctor or somebody who worked in the medical profession. You were trying to find a cure. You were finding a cure because you couldn't protect a child. Maybe, it was a daughter. And you fought tirelessly to find a cure. All right. It was, you felt like it was your way to recover from the pain of losing your daughter if you could heal people and make things better for people, to protect them. Okay. You saw it all like it was almost like you felt guided. I mean, you would look at yourself in the mirror, and the only way you could feel at peace and protect it, the only place you found serenity and sanctuary every time you looked into the mirror, was to help people. That's why you kept going and you kept going and you kept going to the point of almost exhaustion. All right? Because you felt like you couldn't live with yourself if you had done anything differently. All right? That's kind of sad. Okay, but you wanted to give back to people. Okay, you did it because, your family was affected. Okay, you just wanted to make sure that other people didn't experience what you had. And like I said, it was kind of going to make you feel better if you could help other families, okay, through this. But like I said, it just felt so overwhelming. And with so many people dying during the plague, it felt like none of your efforts were ever going to really help the situation. But you were skilled, you had a gift as a healer, as a doctor, and you just wanted to help other families. Let me see, what is the Six of Pentacles about? Hang on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you had a gift, right? You were very wise, very intelligent. You wanted to use your knowledge, your wisdom to purify, to cleanse this plague that was hitting the world, right? And I'm just stuck on plague because of that rat. The rat card came out. So that's why I really think it was the plague. It doesn't have to be. It could have been like, other periods of time when there was a pandemic, right? You may, in the present, feel a bit triggered by, our current situation. Maybe you've, hopefully not. I hope no one's lost anyone that's watching, but I think if this was your past life, if this resonates, you could be feeling quite anxious because of the pandemic that, we're going through right now, okay? But again, anyway, very highly intelligent. You wanted to use your skills to help people. It required, you watched the land get ravaged, but you learned from that, okay? You learned from what happened to your family. But yeah, you saw a lot, basically, and you just tried to use your skills to help people to cleanse away the disease that was affecting everyone. Let's get one more. Yeah, because you just want it to help society grow again, right? To help rebuild. All right. But it was hard. There were times, like I said, it felt like a thankless job, and you may have just wanted to extract yourself, but you just felt compelled. You felt like if you didn't do it, it was going to affect you too deeply because of the losses that you suffered. So you had to help other people in order to feel better. Okay. All right. So let's see what lessons from the past do you guys need to focus on in this life? Please, what lessons does group 2 need to focus on in this life? What lessons from the past does group 2 need to focus on in this life? So we have metamorphosis. Okay, so in this life you may be feeling like you're going through a bit of a metamorphosis, a change. The frog and lotus. Okay, that's what that card is. Intelligence. Yeah, you're a very smart person. You know, you were definitely in the past life. Like I said, you could be working in the medical field now, or just, you know, another very highly intelligent person, you know, with the crow and dogwood. Crows are very highly intelligent. All right. So, but you are in the middle of a transition right now. You may be in transition right now. Guardianship, the wolf and rosehip. Okay. So I think because you were the rescuer in a past life and you felt like maybe it was a thankless job, I think in this life you're in transition. So you may be going into a new job. It could be you're leveling up. Okay, you have a guardianship, a leadership role of some sort, but you're very highly intelligent, and you do have the skills that you need. But yeah, if in this life you're in a kind of job that feels a little unfulfilling or thankless, I think the message is to look for a change. Okay, look to see how you can grow if you feel stuck. You're either in transition now or you're longing for one. Okay, but just know that no matter what you decide, change is always good. But it looks like in this life you're going to level up for sure. All right. Yeah. So I think that's everything for you, group 2. Let me know below if this resonates. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and I'll see you all soon. Love you. So welcome, group 3. If you chose the Tourmaline pendulum, then this is your reading. Okay, so the card you chose is Storyteller. So the light attributes for the Storyteller reads, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. The shadow attributes reads, making up tales that harm others. Okay, so definitely in a past life you were a storyteller. Now, I mean, that could be a writer, it could be, I mean, think about other forms you can tell stories. You could have been an actor, a performer, a writer, just somebody who was very imaginative. Maybe you told little white lies or stretched the truth from time to time. I don't know yet, but we'll get more detail. Okay. The cards have been really, really interesting tonight. All y'all tuning in tonight are an interesting group of people. So yeah. Oh no, those are. I want the different deck first. Okay. So, ancestors, spirit guides, angels, and higher beings, please give me more information about the storyteller. More information about the storyteller for group 2, please. More for group 3. So we have the Queen of Cups. We have the Four of Pentacles. Just turn this down a little bit. Let me see. Four of Pentacles. The Three of Wands. Okay. And the last card is the the Seven of Swords. Okay, so this is really interesting. So like I said, the storyteller, you were somebody, you were either a writer or a performer, okay? But you were definitely someone who was very fluid with their emotions and how they reacted to things. I mean, I think one moment you could have been very wise, the next moment you might have been kind of foolish and making mistakes, but you may also have had some successes. I think, like I said before, you may have had a penchant for stretching the truth a little bit. Maybe you weren't too clear on what the difference between fact and fiction was. Okay. But yeah, you were constantly changing, and that's why the word performer keeps coming in. All right. People just never really knew what to expect from you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I think, at times you were just, one minute you could be, like I said, very smart, very mature, very stable, and then the next minute, you would just be like all over the place like a hot mess, okay? The storyteller sometimes likes to control the narrative of things as well. And when they can control the narrative, it makes them feel like they can control their destiny, what the universe has put on their path. Maybe that's why they are so concerned about controlling every last little narrative, okay? Because there is sort of this sense of chaos. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe to kind of make things look a little bit more clear, you would stretch the truth. But I do get a sense that, this is a feminine energy. We have the Queen of Cups. So, it's a creative person. You were a very creative person. You had a lot of compassion, intuition, all right? But you were very creative. So, you could have been, like I said, a writer or a performer. I do sense a feminine vibe. Doesn't have to be. But, I really think that, yeah, you kept people on their toes. You were very imaginative. But also the keeping people on their toes with the Four of Pentacles was how you protected yourself. You wanted to guard yourself. So, you were very creative, but you could display all these different emotion situations, and it was just the way of protecting your heart. Okay. But I think you were very successful, right? You were very successful at what you did. We have the Three of Cups, which is adventure, celebration, action, adventure. I think you were I get the sense of sort of maybe a very bohemian type individual, writer, 19th century, or maybe, France or something like that. I don't know. That's just sort of what I'm talking off the top of my head, but that's the image that I see. But yeah, there was this sense of bohemian in you, all right? Many adventures, but you did keep up a facade in some situations just to keep yourself protected, because we have the Seven of Swords. There was a lot of dishonesty around you, a lot of thievery. Okay. So you could have been in a situation where, yeah, I mean, you constantly had to be on your toes. All right. But there was a sense of, there were some dishonest characters around you. Whatever you were doing, there were some folks around you. I think that you were just on your guard all the time. All the time. Okay. So let's see. What is this Queen of Cups about? What is the Queen of Cups about? Okay, so it was the Queen of Cups. You were very creative, okay? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you were a writer. Very bohemian. You were open to new opportunities. You probably very well traveled. But, you know, you always wanted this life, okay? You contemplated, thought about it for a really, really long time. But it was the kind of life that you wanted. I do think that you were a writer. I mean, how funny, right? We got the pipe. But it brought you a lot of peace, okay, as well. But I think any creative person has to, you know, you have to be flexible, right? I think, again, I get the sense of sort of this, I keep seeing this bohemian type person who's a writer, in the streets, in the cafes of Paris, maybe running around with not the best people, thieves, petty, you know, just petty criminals that you were engaged with that were running around. There was some, you moved from place to place. They're just, you weren't around the best people, but you loved it, right? Because you were the bohemian. You felt good there, right? Surrounded by these maybe not so great characters, but as the bohemian, you know, like when you would love going to the cafes and spending time with all sorts, right? It brought you a lot of peace. It's where you felt at home. You know, you had a lot of friends, a lot of blessings, good health. You loved it. It was a time of harmony. So it didn't matter to you. That was just your life that you chose, right? It's kind of fun. So the Four of Pentacles, what is this about? So you were a little guarded, right? So you may have been a little guarded, used your many different faces to protect yourself. Yeah, you were very mysterious, right? We've got the cat. We've got the cat. The cat's very, yeah, I mean, you kept people on their toes. They never knew what they were going to get. Okay, when you came onto the scene, when you walked in. Yeah, the moth. People were attracted to you like a light to, you know, like a moth to the flame, basically. People were very attracted towards this very changing, fluid nature you had. Yeah, they saw you were very passionate, right? So all of these things, these characteristics that you had, people were drawn to it. And like I said, I think you were very successful as a writer, as a creative storyteller, whether it was as a performer, an actor, actress, but yeah, you know, people loved everything about it. You know, you were very guarded because you were always worried about, like I said, you spent a lot of time around maybe people engaged in criminal activities, so that makes sense that you were guarded. You know, because you didn't want to deal with any misfortune, right? You were very street smart, I think. Very, very street smart. But yeah, the cat is about resurrection. I think you became very popular in with whatever craft you were working on at the time. But the 29 is, yeah, you went through this huge transformation. I think your career just kind of exploded. That's why you have the Three of Wands, okay, which is a celebration, luck, action, adventure. You know, you just it sort of kicked off all of this thing, everything. You traveled the world, and you just, you know, you were just passionate. You followed your passion, your creativity, okay, and you went at it with abandon. Okay, so that's really, it was all about passion, love, adventure for you. You loved every minute of it, and yeah, it was, you had a very interesting life. It's kind of cool. Three of Wands, adventure, luck, action. What is this about, please? What is this about? So blood. This might have been, because you were successful, it may have been helped your family or your bloodline. You secured your bloodline with your success. Yeah, you had a bright future ahead of you. Yeah, and water. You could have gone to find, you could have traveled over water or traveled by sea, because that's what the Three of Wands is. So maybe, you were noticed or recognized for your talents, for your work, and you traveled towards, went over by water to your new future, which brought a lot of stability to your family. But yeah, like I said, you were always careful of thievery, people taking advantage of you. All right. I think you had to be, but you were, like I said, very street smart. You had a lot of vitality, a lot of life. You had to sacrifice a lot to get to where you are, to have this better future. Okay. It may have required you leaving your family in order to find this success. So maybe you had to walk away, but you wanted this better life and you left. Like I said, you may have traveled over water to find a better life for yourself, or you went searching for answers, or just you sought adventure so much. So that makes sense. When I talked about a bohemian person, you just traveled from place to place all over. And that's just the type of life, the lifestyle that you enjoyed, right? That's what you did. All right. Kind of cool, right? I think it's all very beautiful, but you enjoyed every minute of it. It was very purifying for you. The Seven of Swords, we have the flower. So you were always sort of watching out, like I said, very street smart, but looking out for anyone who would steal from you, steal your ideas, be dishonest, and take away from your blossoming potential. Or maybe you ran into people who did do that stole your ideas. Let's see. We have the Frog. Again, another card about transformation. And the Snakes. Okay, yeah. So there may have been, like, in this process of you becoming a success, working on your creative abilities, your talents, your blossoming talents, you could have come into contact with a few snakes, okay? But you definitely, bohemian, very beautiful, very kind, very talented. You definitely had natural talent, a gift, okay? And I think just as you were becoming successful, growing, learning, going through this transformation, someone stole something from you. These snakes, okay? The Frog is about transformation. Maybe someone stole from you or stole an idea and you just learned from that situation, but it was definitely disappointment. Someone lied to you, this snake, all right, lied to you, and that could have really affected you. Someone may have just, like I said, stole your ideas or something, or didn't give you credit for something. And, right, like I said, I thought this was a feminine reading. So if it was back during that time frame that I'm thinking, like the 1800s or whatever, back, bohemian times, Paris, all that, you know what I'm talking about. I think that, yeah, as a woman, as a writer at that time, it would have been very difficult to be taken seriously. All right. You would have had to really fight and protect your ideas so that they weren't stolen. But for any kind of female artists at the time, whether they were writers or painters or, they were never really taken seriously. All right. It was the Manets, the Monets, the Van Goghs that were always sort of put to the front. Same with writers, right? It was their work that came first. Okay. So you would have been on edge, I think, as you were becoming more and more successful, of all these snakes in your midst, probably trying to take credit for your ideas, steal your ideas, okay? And like I said, they may, as a female, people may have, the men in that field may have just seen you as a sexual object, basically. Like I said, you were always on the lookout for people who didn't recognize you for your talent and just saw you as some sort of sexual temptation or fantasy. Okay? But I think you stayed pretty true to who you were. Okay? But that's who you were, your situation in the past life. So let's just get some more detail about what lessons from your past life do you need to focus on in this life. So please, for group 2, what lessons from the past does group 3 need to focus on in this life? What lessons from the past does group 3 need to focus on in this life? So, leadership, the bear and cedar. So, yeah, I mean, you were definitely, like I said, you were successful once. You were a leader. You were recognized, very, very talented. So just know that quality carries over in this life. Okay, you are a natural leader, a leader in your field, a leader in your craft, or you need to put the time in to become the leader in your chosen field or craft. Okay, we have adaptability, the fox and ivy. So yeah, I mean, if this resonates with you, your past life, you were very bohemian, kind of moved around a lot. You're very adaptable, and that's a good quality. So yeah, keep that in this life. Know that that's a really good quality to have. You're adaptable. You can change in any situation. Go with the flow. That's what makes you a leader, is your adaptability, right? And it's right here, we're exactly right under the storyteller card. It makes perfect sense where I said, the storyteller wore many masks, would tell lots of stories, would either, 1 minute do something totally genius, and the next minute make the huge mistake, but always came out on top. You know what I mean? Because you were adaptable and obviously not afraid to take risks. Okay, so definitely a good lesson to learn. I think in this life, just be smart, but don't be afraid to take a risk, a calculated risk, because you are a leader. All right, and one more. We have the turtle and coriander. Satisfaction. I mean, you just get great satisfaction out of maybe just adventure, travel, being adaptable. It's just something that you excel at. You're a leader. You're not afraid to take chances. So, just focus on those are all good things. This is a very interesting past life that you had. Okay, and like I said, even though I said it was kind of a feminine energy from the past, it doesn't have to be. You could be male or female in this present, but still have the same sort of soul traits, right? So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting read. So use all of that stuff from the past in this life. You're very adaptable, very imaginative, very creative, very adventurous. And, you get great satisfaction from that. So just keep going with it. All right. Okay, group 3, that's your reading. Let me know below if this resonates. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. And I'll see you all soon. Love you all.